The alternative is the pattern that you've probably been running, which is even with success, you still look at the shortcomings, the things maybe you got wrong. And like the person I was coaching before, he uttered the phrase, I feel like I've had a great deal of success in spite of myself, because it was very much from that lens of, well, what have I not got right? What am I still not getting right? Do you regularly have moments where you feel like you could be so much better, where you're feeling like you've left so much more on the table in lots of different areas of your life? Today, we're going to talk about how you can change your thinking around that and just see how much success you are already achieving. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality. Find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. Guarantee you are having more success than you're giving yourself credit. When you bring your value to the world, there is a natural inclination to not see how valuable that is, because it just comes so easy to you. It's just something that you do. I just got off from a call with a long-term client, and that's exactly what we were talking about, is their ability to go in different situations in conversation and get good results was hugely valuable. And at times, he was feeling like he wasn't doing enough work, because generally in a lot of workplaces, it's like the value is, head down, get in front of a computer, get things done. And we've been conditioned to believe that for anything to be valuable, it's got to come with hard work. Now, don't get me wrong, hard work is required where it's required. But when we step into that, our personal zone, a zone of genius, it doesn't feel like hard work. It is hard work. It requires discipline. It requires us to take action, but it doesn't feel like it, because it comes so effortlessly to us, because it's just a natural way of operating. Sorry, you have to excuse my voice. At a concert last night, I may have been singing a little bit too vigorously, so I'm a bit scratchy. So, uh, how do we make sure that we are recognizing our value, getting to the end of a week and realizing that we've actually been more successful than we think? Getting to the end of a day, getting to the end of a week, end of a month, end of a year. And it comes back to a journaling process, which is such a foundational, simple process, but just so powerful. But going back about 12 years ago, this is exactly where I was at. Like what the person I was coaching today was at, is that I was at a point where I'm very much, my value comes from conversation. And I was very much in that mode of discovering that and realizing that I can create a lot of value by talking to the right people, and creating meaningful connections, and connections for other people that will bring a return on investment. Now, in business, often that's monetary, but in a corporate world, return on investment might be a better result for the team. It might be more productivity. It could be the team connecting better. It could be a whole lot of different things, which all do ultimately improve that bottom line in terms of a financial return on investment as well. The process, really quite simple, is at the end of every day, write down in your journal at least 3 wins. And if you do that every day of your working week, and if you feel called on the weekend as well, write down 3 wins. You get to the end of a week and you review your week. Even on those weeks where you feel like maybe you haven't been as successful, you will see just how much success you've had, and you will look at that week completely differently. You'll feel so much better about what you've produced, about the value that you've brought. And the best part is, consciously, you'll want more. Subconsciously, your brain will, I was going to say push, but inspire you, probably push you as well, drive you to want to add even more value and get even more wins the next week. The writing it down accesses the subconscious brain that allows you to seek out more of what felt good. So, creating this daily journal habit will be transformational. It will allow you to start really appreciating just how valuable you are and just how much success you are having. Because you think about how often you get to the end of anything focusing on what didn't go well. The best analogy I learned way back when was in a golf game, and they represented each shot for a professional golfer that this guy was coaching, represented by a color. And the green was for a good shot, and the red was for one that wasn't so good. And the graph of this person's round, of course, for a professional golfer, most of them were green, and there were the odd red dot. But of course, what the golfer was coming off after the round was focusing on the 3 red dots. Sometimes they could have played a whole par 5, played 4 really good shots, and then one not so good, and they walk away from that hole not focusing on the 4 good ones, but on the shot that wasn't so good, and they carry that energy into the next thing. And there are going to be times where you would do this as well. You would look at a situation, focus on what wasn't the best. I know I used to do it in football all the time. I know I used to do it in work life. I definitely did it as a parent. And even now, there are times where I look back at my parenting when my children were young, thinking, oh man, like I got so much wrong. But then the photos and the videos that I look at every now and then might pop up in a memory, or if I go back and look through the archives, paints a completely different picture. And if I was to ask both of my children, they would say the same thing. They would, of course, remember some of the things that weren't so good, but they would say all of those amazing things that they experienced as well. By having this journaling process, it will completely flip the switch in your mind around what you are seeing, what you're acknowledging, and just how much more positive you're going to see how things are and feel about how things are. Introduce this to your daily practice. If you want to be the best that you can be, you want to perform at your best, putting these practices in place in everything that you do is going to be hugely beneficial. If you're a golfer, after a game, write down those shots where you flushed it. Write down those shots where you got yourself out of trouble. Focus your energy there. Yes, there might be some review and reflection on the things you could do better, and you practice those. But you need to make sure you've got those positive elements, the things that went well. If you play any other sport, if you're someone who likes to exercise, running, lifting weights, again, recognizing the progress. If it's a work environment, looking back at your progress over the year, looking how far you've come. And when you start putting this and making this a daily practice, plus a weekly review practice, plus maybe every month, and you look back at those time periods, days, weeks, months, and years, you'll just see how much you have achieved, and you'll be able to look at your life in such a more positive way and feel so much better about what you are producing, how you are performing, and ultimately how you feel about yourself, so that you can continue to show up better and better every single day. The alternative is the pattern that you've probably been running, which is even with success, you still look at the shortcomings, the things maybe you got wrong. And like the person I was coaching before, he uttered the phrase, I feel like I've had a great deal of success in spite of myself, because it was very much from that lens of, well, what have I not got right? What am I still not getting right? I look, because we've been working together for a couple of years, I look back at now what he's been able to create this year, and it's so much better. Yet he still wants more. Now, we don't want to lose that. We still want to have that desire to continue to improve. It is important, though, to pause, to acknowledge your wins, and to have a little celebration with yourself. And for the bigger ones, a bigger celebration to really acknowledge just how far you've come. Like I said, consciously you'll love it. Subconsciously, that part of your brain will go to work trying to find more of those feel-good moments as well. Now, if you're new to the pod, please, if you could do me a favor, make sure you follow, like, subscribe. If you're on Apple, go to the automatic download. It helps me to get in front of more people, spread this message, and bring more purpose into people's world, help them to be the best they can be. So if you won't do it for me, do it for all those other people that you'll be helping, which I know if you are here listening to this podcast, you're someone that loves to help people. See you in the next one. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode.
Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.